Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Anuj Chawla. I'm working as a foot and ankle specialist in the Department of Orthopedics in CK Birla Hospital, Gurgaon. So today I'm going to talk about ankle fractures. So what are ankle fractures? So basically if you look at this foot model, so this is the ankle joint which is formed by the two bones, which is tibia and fibula on the top and another bone which is talus at the bottom. So ये वाला जो joint होता है इसको हम ankle joint कहते हैं. So when we talk about fractures in the ankle, so any fracture around in this area, specifically in the upper two bones जो tibia और fibula है, उसको हम fracture of the ankle कहते हैं. So what are the mechanisms of ankle fracture? So obviously the one is a very significant injury, जैसे किसी का अगर road traffic accident हुआ है, और sometimes you can even sustain some fractures due to a minor twisting injury, जिसको कई बारी हम ये confuse हो जाते हैं कि ये fracture है या फिर ये एक simple सा ankle sprain है, because many patients are actually able to walk in them, and those are the conditions which actually gives us a lot of dilemma, and we don't know what exactly needs to be done and when do you need to consult a doctor, specifically when you are not really sure whether it's a fracture or not. So when you have a fracture, if you look at the ankle itself, so ankle जो है वो पूरा का पूरा it is kind of a ring, हम इसको ankle mortis कहते हैं, but if you look at a cross section, अगर हम इसको यहाँ से काटें तो it is a form of a ring, जिसमें हड्डी है which is the bones, और जिसमें ligaments है which are basically fibrous bands which join the two bones together. तो यहाँ पे हमारे bone है, इधर bone है, आगे you have a ligament और पीछे की तरफ भी you have a ligament. तो जब भी टूटता है तो it is like a ring, ये कभी भी एक जगह से नहीं, ये दो तीन या कई बारी चारों कॉर्नर से टूट सकता है. So when a bone or a ligament is broken at one end, it is a relatively stable injury, and many a times it can be managed non-operatively, and those are the cases in which you would not really be sure, whether it is actually a fracture or not. But if it is broken at 2 or 3 different places, then it is an unstable injury, and that requires the surgery. So how would you as a patient know that you have sustained a fracture or you have not sustained a fracture? And then after that, if you have sustained a fracture, whether you need a surgery or you do not need a surgery, definitely the doctor would guide you with that. So first thing first, so how do you know whether you have injured yourself and you have sustained a fracture? So अगर आपको चोट लगी है and your ankle is really dangling, which is really a significant injury, and you're not able to walk and you can actually see your ankle becoming deformed, then you know that it is a fracture, and I think it is very clear that you would rush to the hospital immediately. But in certain cases, when you actually injure your ankle but you're able to stand up and you're still able to walk, then it becomes difficult. या फिर कभी you're not able to walk but थोड़ा सा ही swelling है. So those are the cases that you are not really sure whether it is actually a fracture or not. तो कई बारी अगर आप ऐसे प्रेस करो और आपको एक जगह पे हड्डी पे दर्द हो रहा है, that definitely means there is a possibility of a fracture. But anyways, अगर आपको swelling दिखे or if you are unable to walk, you should consult a doctor, and then the doctor might consider doing some x-rays of the ankle to see whether you have sustained a fracture or you haven't sustained. So अगर fracture होगा, then you have to see whether the fracture is a hairline fracture, जो कि बिल्कुल ही दोनों ends अपनी position पे है, हम उसको कहते हैं undisplaced fracture. So if there is an undisplaced fracture, then it can be managed without any form of surgery in many cases. But even in those undisplaced fracture, जैसा कि मैंने बताया कि ankle is a form of a ring, तो sometimes जो outer bone है इसमें एक undisplaced fracture भी हो जाता है, but then you would have ligament problems or ligament injuries to the sides of the ankle. तो अगर वो है, it might be a severe injury, and that injury itself would also many a times need surgery. That can be checked by doing special x-rays or by doing something which we call as stress x-rays. उसमें हम थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेस देते हैं या कई बारी ग्रेविटी रिलेटेड एक्सरेज करते हैं, जिसमें हम पेशेंट का पैर ऐसे लटकाते हैं, तो उसमें अगर वो हिल जाता है, that means it's a significant injury and it requires a surgery. So if you have been advised surgery, then what are you supposed to do, or if you have not been advised surgery, then what you're supposed to do. तो अगर सर्जरी एडवाइस नहीं करी है तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली आपको डॉक्टर प्लास्टर लगाएगा. If you have been given a plaster, what you have to do is you have to make sure that your swelling does not get worse, and for that the most important thing is keeping your legs elevated all the time. And when I'm saying all the time, it means you have to do it for 23 hours in a day. दैट मीन सिर्फ 1 घंटे का बीच में ब्रेक, ठीक है। यू डू नॉट हैव टू स्टेप ऑन द एंकल, यू कैन नॉट पुट प्रेशर, तो हमेशा हॉप करके चलना है विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ वॉकर और अ वॉकिंग स्टिक। अगर आपका फ्रैक्चर इतना सिग्निफिकेंट है दैट एक्चुअली नीड्स सर्जरी, तो उस केस में आपको क्या करना है, यू हैव टू कीप योर लेग एलिवेटेड, दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज सर्जरी हम डॉक्टर्स या सर्जन्स तभी कर सकते हैं जब स्वेलिंग कम हो जाएगी, और स्वेलिंग कम करने के लिए यू हैव टू अप्लाई ईदर आइस पैक्स एंड यू हैव टू कीप योर लेग एलिवेटेड एंड कीप मूविंग द टोज। सो वंस द swelling has significantly settled down, then we decide to operate on such patients. तो जब हम सर्जरी करते हैं then we decide during the operation कि हमारे को कौन कौन सी बोन्स टूटी हुई है और उसके लिए क्या क्या सर्जरीज करनी है। मोस्ट ऑफ द फ्रैक्चर्स हम सिर्फ एक एक्सरे के बेसिस पे डिसाइड कर लेते हैं, बट समटाइम्स हमारे को सीटी स्कैन भी करना पड़ता है विच इज अ डिटेल्ड बोनी इवैल्यूएशन फॉर द फ्रैक्चर, सो दैट ऑब्वियसली योर डॉक्टर वुड डिसाइड। Once the fracture has been fixed, so normally fixation is done with the help of screws, more commonly on the medial or the inner side, and plates and screws on the outer side. So once the surgery is done, the doctor would advise you to keep your leg elevated, and that is very important for the swelling to settle down and the pain to reduce as well, and you need to keep your toes moving. कई बारी आपको प्लास्टर लगा होगा और कई बारी सिर्फ बैंडेज होगी, बट नेवरदलेस जो भी है अगर आप उसमें आइस पैक्स कर सकते हैं देन दैट इज अ बून। सो यू नीड टू डू आइस पैक्स ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द टाइम आफ्टर द सर्जरी, क्योंकि जितना जल्दी स्वेलिंग कम होगा उतनी ही फास्टर आपकी रिकवरी होगी। इनिशियल पीरियड में ऑब्वियसली you would be given some medicines which would be to relieve your pain and to relieve the swelling which is developing. तो उस चीज़ के लिए आपको वो you have to take it on a regular basis initially, and painkillers would be taken as and when needed बाद में। With regards to weight bearing, so during the hospital admission only the doctor and the physiotherapist would teach you how to do walking. So what you have to do is you have to walk with the help of either a walking stick or with the help of a walking frame or maybe crutches. So that the doctor would teach you, और आपको वो सारी की सारी walking उस हिसाब से करनी है। Initially most of the cases में you will not be allowed to put your leg in the feet, but as the time progresses and as the bone starts healing you can slowly start putting your feet. अगर आपको प्लास्टर नहीं लगा हुआ then the doctor might advise you some physiotherapy which would primarily be movement exercises for the ankle, और जितना आप जल्दी और जितना अच्छी तरह से मूव करेंगे so you would definitely recover faster and you would have a better recovery. So despite saying everything, ankle fractures can be very serious injuries despite the fact that they might need surgery, but the recovery is excellent. So if you listen to your doctor, if you continue with the physiotherapy regime, आपका recovery would be almost 100%. So but the most important thing during this period is that you have to stay safe, and specifically to be safe on uneven surfaces or your stairs, because twisting is one of the most common mechanism of injuring the ankle joint. So in case you like this video, you can always like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want to consult me for any ankle related issues, though I hope you don't have to, but in case you need to, you can always call the appointment line and book an appointment. Thank you very much and stay safe.